Father's Day special. Of course, yesterday was Father's Day, but well, we can celebrate it today with all of you. And the question that we're asking our experts today, and you as well, is what you can do for your dad or what you learned from your dad when it comes to your investments. Joining me on today's program is Anushi Vakharia. Anushi, good morning to you. And as I understand, your dad has been investing in the markets for quite a while. When did he start giving you advice?
Yes, so it's been since 90s that he's been a part of the market. So, you know, the conversations around the dinner table used to always revolve around stock market. So his investment advice to me was always to be long in equities, and of course, being a risk taker himself, he does believe that in the early years itself, you know, you should be as aggressive with your portfolios, with your investments as possible, because then the later stages would be where you can think about more of a conservative approach. So investment advice from him was always to go aggressive, be a risk taker.
Great, and you've started early, I'm sure, and it bodes well if you've taken advice from your dad and you've started investing in the equity market. Joining us today is Brijesh L, who's head of technical and derivatives retail research at IDBI Cap, as well as Nirav Ashar, who's head of equity research at Latin Manharlal. Good morning to you both, gentlemen, and happy Father's Day to you as well. I'm just wondering, Nirav, I'll start with you. Is there advice that you've gotten from your dad that you put into practice, and also is there advice that you give your kids?
Well, good morning and thank you for the invite, and wishing all of you a very, very happy Father's Day. I think yes, when it comes to advice, I think I learned everything about the markets from my father. My father was working in the stock market, and in a way, while doing my college, I was attending the markets also. So I learned how to read balance sheets. I learned how to read the results. I got a very sound guidance from a lot of seniors in the market. And this was the era where we had the trading ring. So I think have seen that phase also. I've seen the computerization of the markets, how the things have gone into that paperless mode. So it's been a very, very rich learning experience. As far as the advice which I pass on to my daughter, I think I do advise her to take interest in investing on a long-term sustainable basis. But my daughter is basically a lot into arts. So I think she has very little interest in numbers and balance sheets, etc. So she feels that we should keep all these investing and all that to ourselves. She's more inclined towards art. So I think she's an artist. So a very, very different course which she has decided to follow in life.
Yeah. But if she sees her investments grow over the years, that's something that everybody likes to see, irrespective of what they enjoy doing. Brijesh, quick question to you as well. How do you get financial advice given to your kids, and did you get something for this Father's Day?
Hi, morning. So basically for me, my dad was more into a technical thing. So he was not too much into the market. But then specifically when I was like doing my college days, that is how I came into the market, and then I learned about the stock market. So it was a late journey, but later and sooner, but I somehow picked it up. But if I need to understand, give some tips to my son, then I would be definitely asking him to do some long-term bets where it's too small to understand all this. But then looking at me, maybe over the period of time, I think he may pick it up. But my advice would be to invest in a long-term and to take a long-term focus. This is what I would make him understand. Right now, he's only 5 years old, so I don't think I would be able to make him understand anything. Maybe over a year's time, when he sees me, I think he might take that.
I mean, another 5 years and he'll be at the age that Warren Buffett started, or soon, or close to that, 11 years old. So not a bad time to start feeding some information to him. But having said that, because it's Father's Day, we've been running, or we've been asking our guests, even on this program, Ask Profit, to give us advice as to what stocks would get into a portfolio that stands the test of time, that you as a father would like to give to your child, or that your father is probably invested in. And quite a few interesting names, very large names at that. You have Purinju Velia talking about restaurant brands that he would buy at this point. You have Nippon India from the AMC space. You had Parag Thakkar this morning talk about a variety of stocks in the financial space. Bajaj Finserv, by the way, is the way that he's playing the Bajaj Finance story, and that stock in focus on account of the stock split as well as the bonus issue today. Mr. Chokalingam talking about the likes of Nesco as well as Bombay Burma, and make sure that you see that disclaimer. He says that he's invested in those stocks as well. State Bank of India in focus again today because it's cut its savings rate. This is the rate that it's offering on its savings bank account by 20 basis points to 2.5%. This bodes well for the company, for the bank going forward as well. And finally, Gaurang talked about HDFC Bank. Now that State Bank of India has cut its savings rate, it's quite likely that HDFC Bank will follow suit. So the first question that I'm asking Nirav this morning, beyond any of these stocks, is what stocks are you suggesting that a father can buy that will stand the test of time that they can hand to their children?
Well, I think the focus should be on long-term value creators. So I think I would recommend a Reliance Industries, HDFC Bank and Bajaj Finance.
And Brajesh, what about you? What is something that you would look forward for the next 15 years, 20 years, whatever the longer term picture is?
I think most of the people do talk of a lot of sectors, but one sector which I would like to highlight is the hospitality industry, plus the hospital space. So I think healthcare will be one space where the stocks like Narayana Hrudayalaya, KIMS, Fortis, this kind of stocks I think would be the very strong, extremely like over the next couple of years. This sector would not see any major dip. So whenever some correction happens, this would be the sector which would be act as a safe bet. So I think hospital stock should be one from a very long-term perspective will do very good over the next coming years.
Okay. All right. Since it's the Father's Day special on Ask Profit, I'd invite you to write to us. Even if you've got a message for your dad, don't hesitate to write to us on the number that you see on the screen. That's the number, the WhatsApp number, or you can call us as Ramchandra has done from Guntur. If you've got specific learnings that you've gotten from your father that has helped you in your investment journey, write to us and tell us about that as well. Ramchandra, hi, thanks so much for calling us this morning. How can we help you today?
Okay, good morning. Can I buy Ramki infrastructure at current market price?
And what is the time horizon that you have in mind, Ramchandra?
Short term, 6 months duration.
Okay, 6 months. All right, so let me go to you, Brijesh, on this one. Ramki Infrastructure is the name of the counter. Would you buy the current market price for 6 months?
Okay, so I'm not too much of a reading on this, but the stock is forming a base. So this level of 450 is maybe looked as a support zone. Upside would be a very limited, maybe 650. Another 100 points kind of a play can be there. So it's a trading opportunity. One should take 450 as a stop loss and can take that long bet.
Okay, so that's the view for Ramki Infra that we are looking at. Next question is from Paramjeet, and he wants to understand the view for ABFRL. He bought it at a price of 208, and this is before the demerger price that we are looking at, currently trading at around levels of 73 or so. Wants to understand whether he should buy more of ABFRL, especially after the demerger. Nirav, let me come to you on this counter.
Well, yes, definitely it's a good opportunity to accumulate with a medium to long-term perspective. Because we've seen a meaningful correction in the stock, and hopefully by the festival season we should see things beginning to improve. I think the stock has corrected from 104, 105 levels to currently at around 73, 74. So it's definitely a good opportunity.
Okay, it's a good opportunity. ABFRL stock is down about 6% over the course of the last week. Sana from Chennai is writing in asking about Jio Financial Services for the medium term, and she's wondering whether to acquire it at this point. It has played a little bit of catch up. I'm wondering, Brijesh, if this is a good opportunity to accumulate for the medium term?
Yeah, I think one can take that bet, but then having said this, lately there has been a good run, so I expect some profit booking to come. Maybe some 6% kind of profit booking can be there. I would advise to buy in a part, like maybe few at the current level, and whenever there is a kind of a small profit booking or correction, that time one can enter more longs, but not 100% at the current level.
Okay, so that's the view for Geo Financial Services that we are looking at. But next we have a caller joining us, and this is Pratul calling us from Jaipur. Hi Pratul, how can we help you on the show today?
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show and a belated happy Father's Day to all of you.
Right, please
Uh,
take.
my query is on BSE Limited. I had purchased BSE 1000 shares at about 2600 the amount a piece. Now the stock today is trading at around 2700. A couple of days back it was at 3000 rupees. Now it has been consistently declining day by day.
Right.
So my question to you is, what's your call? Should I hold it or should I sell it off and switch over to NSE Limited?
Pratul, what is the time horizon that you're looking at?
Long term, short term, anything.
Okay, so you just want to check.
Sorry, I want to understand, Pratul, you intend to buy NSE in the unlisted space?
Yeah, unlisted, but selling off BSE Limited. Switching over from BSE to NSE at the moment.
Okay, but why specifically? Both are exchange companies. So you're saying you want to stay in the exchange space and you want to understand whether the valuations are more attractive for NSE?
Yeah, it's like the valuations are looking pretty much more attractive than the BSE Limited, and at the same point of time, there is a potential of NSE Limited rising above BSE once it gets listed.
Okay. Nirav, do you have a view here? Generally, we don't ask about unlisted shares, and I think a lot of people have jumped into the National Stock Exchange in the unlisted space, looking at this very opportunity. What is the advice here?
Well, I think his optimism stems from the fact that there's been a sharp spot in the price of NSE. So I think he doesn't want to miss out on that opportunity. And I think as the buzz keeps growing that the listing is just around the corner, I think there's a lot of interest in the unlisted space as far as NSE stock is concerned. But as far as BSE is concerned, I think it's a portfolio stock, and any correction, I think, should not disturb the investor. It's a portfolio stock, so it should be held in the from a medium to long-term perspective. And as far as NSE is concerned, I think he always has the option of doing some nominal purchases from the unlisted market at this point of time.
Okay, so that's the view that we are seeing for BSE versus an NSE, both exchange companies and focus here. But next question is from Pakshal from Savannah, and he wants to understand whether he should invest in the two-wheeler sector, and this is for the next 3 to 5 years of an outlook that we are looking at. Nirav, coming back to you on this one, any of these two-wheeler companies that stand out to you on a long-term basis?
Well, from a long-term basis, I think there are very limited players in this space. I think we have Hero MotoCorp, which is doing quite well, Bajaj Auto, which is focused on the export markets, and Eicher Motors. But I think our preferred picks would be Hero MotoCorp and Eicher Motors.
Okay. All right. So that's the view on the two-wheeler space. Venkat is calling us from Bengaluru. Venkat, very good morning to you. How can we help you today?
Good morning, sir. So I want to invest some 1 lakh rupees in IDFC first at this price.
Okay.
Is it okay, or shall I need to wait for some other correction?
Okay.
Earlier, I have made the same. I bought it at 45 rupees and sold at 70 rupees.
Mm-hmm.
So now I want to again take one more call. I am waiting for the correction, but it is not coming below 70 rupees.
Understood. And you're buying this for the long term?
For 3 years view, sir.
3 years view, okay. So since you're looking at a price action and basing your decision on that price action, let me go to Brijesh on this. Brijesh, what's the outlook on IDFC? It's hovering around that 70 mark and he's looking for an opportunity to go long. Where should he deploy?
So if his perspectives for 3 years, I think buying in the range would not be disturbing this. The level of 70 is a good level. The maximum correction which I can see is till the level of 65, because this was the range earlier from where the stock has picked up the momentum. So in a worst case scenario, this can come back to 65. But then whether to hunt for 65 is quite nobody would be right at this point. So I think 70 to 65, you should spread the quantity, and whatever the quantity is looking to buy, you should buy within this spread. And if you want us to understand the long-term outlook, and then I believe easily this can go back to 90 plus over the next 3 years time frame. So I think this should be the good opportunity.
That's the view that we are seeing for IDFC First Bank. Brijesh, the next question is for you as well. Now, Benson is writing us from Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, and he wants to understand the view on Suzlon, whether he should buy it at current levels. Now, do note that in the last 6 months or so, we've seen about a 3% of a correction in terms of where the stock prices. But considering the fourth quarter results that we just saw, strong set of numbers that we've been looking at. Brijesh, your view on this counter?
So Suzlon, recently there was already the run has already come, and so on an immediate basis, some profit booking is expecting. This can go back to 60 levels. So that is a very decent support. And then whenever it finds support near 60 and then it starts moving up, then the stock can start start trending higher. So view is positive. The current level from the 60 to 64 is a good opportunity to re-enter the long bets, and this can go back to 84 levels. So that would be my view.
Okay. I believe we've got a next caller. Man Singh is calling us from Andhra Pradesh. Hi, Mr. Singh. How can we help you today?
Sir, good morning, sir. I want to enter into art industry, sir. Is it the right time for 1 to 2 years? Now, recently, the stock has bottomed out under Quantum Mutual Fund has bought, and it is near above 50-100 moving average and ready to make a gold cross. So, technically and fundamentally, should I take entry into this stock, or should I wait or park somewhere? Please suggest me, sir.
Okay. I got your question. I'm going to make an exception and take a quick view from both. Brijesh, you heard about the technical patterns that he's studying on this chart. What do you have to say about his observation, and would you go long at this point?
Yeah, I would take a long bet, because over the last 2 weeks there has been slightly profit booking, but this 425 is a very decent support. This is again from the weekly time frame since he's watching, and the 425 there has been a very strong crossovers in the moving average. So I think that 425 level will be respected. So he can wait for those level, or maybe re-enter at the current level. On the way up, the 490 is a small resistance. As in when we see a breakout of 490, I think this can go back to 600 plus level. So view is positive. One should make an entry at this level and should not worry as long as 425 level is not taken down. By any chance, if things go wrong and 425 is broken, then he need to review his position.
And there was a reasonable uptick in the PAT number, in the profit number for Aarti Industries in the fourth quarter. If I look sequentially on a year-on-year basis, it's still to make a big headway. Nirav, on the fundamentals, a lot of people are wondering whether the corner has finally been turned by these chemical companies. What's the view on Aarti?
Well, I think still on a shaky ground, but I think this in fact it gives an opportunity to accumulate in a staggered quantity. So I think you can keep buying some quantity, then wait for the quarterly results. If there is an improvement in the numbers, you can add more. But I think this is the best way to accumulate this stock, because you'll never be able to catch the bottom.
Okay, so that's the view for Aarti Industries that we are looking at. Next is a very interesting query that we are seeing, and this is Satyan writing to us, wants to understand of the two theme park companies that we are seeing, which one is a better choice. It's for Imagica World or a Wonderla. Now, this is an interesting one in context that this is for future generations that he wants to build. So it's not a trip to the theme parks that he expects to make, but rather an investment in these companies. So, Nirav, let me come to you on this one. What's your view? Which is the more preferred pick in this?
Well, both of them are as different as chalk and cheese. So I think if one were to look at Wonderla, then I think it's been stable right from the beginning. So they have done almost all their expansions have been done out of their internal accruals, and a very, very disciplined approach as far as the business model is concerned. Expansions have also been done in a very, very phase-wise manner and a very, very meaningful way. So I think definitely Wonderla has strong prospects going forward for it. And at the same time, I think Imagica has been a turnaround story. So it was acquired by the Malpani Group, and a lot of integration happening, a lot of work in progress still at this point of time. So if you ask me, I think the preferred pick would be Wonderla at this point of time.
Okay, the pick would be Wonderla. The next question is coming in on a stock that is under pressure. If I'm not mistaken, Tata Motors was down 4%, if I remember correctly, earlier on in the session. I wonder where it is right now. There you go. It's down it's down 4% is where it is. And this is on account of the outlook for Jaguar Land Rover's margins going forward, which are expected to be under a little bit of pressure. Krishna is calling us from Kerala. Krishna, very good morning to you. How can we help you today?
Hey, good morning. Yeah, I actually bought Tata Motors maybe a few weeks ago. 696 is the average cost.
Yeah.
Almost 4,300 quantity. Was actually planning to hold it till 800. But right now, I think the company is having some pressure. I saw it taking support at 700 level few times, trying for a breakout, failing, coming back, but never expected this move. So what's the point of view for like the next 6 months?
For the next?
6 months.
6 months. Okay. Brijesh, the reaction today is on account of an outlook change from the company, from Jaguar Land Rover specifically, which accounts for a lion's share of the consolidated revenues. But from a charts perspective, where does it find support? Would you deploy? Because he's got a significant quantity already, 4,300 shares. What is the outlook for 6 months?
So first, this stock is now facing some supply. So there is a resistance which is playing its role. So 700 level, there is a resistance. Having said this, the level of 650 and 640 is a very decent support. So I believe this may come close to those points. One should average the Tata Motors at that point, because recently when the stock is formed the bottom formation, the level of 600 was a very has now is defined to be a very strong support. So we have an understanding that this 600 level will not be broken. So my suggestions would be closer to 650, maybe 660. One should average it out, and I think definitely over the 6 months time frame, he's going to get an exit for sure. So maybe not even exit, might make small profits also. So outlook is positive. This has a potential to go back to 750 to 800 level. So I think one should remain invested.
800 levels are still something that we can watch out for Tata Motors, and that's a view from Brijesh. But next question, or the next query, is from Krishna from Hyderabad. He holds shares of PG Electroplast, and this is at a price of 800. Wants to understand the outlook for this on a basis of 1 year, and is considering whether he should average it out further or continue or look for something else. Nirav, let me come to you on this one, as this is a stock that he's looking particularly for his daughter. So it's a long-term investment that he's seeing. What's your outlook on PG Electroplast?
Well, the outlook for the EMS companies is quite strong, and I think PG Electroplast is a stock which he can accumulate further. He can average also at the current levels. So the advice is to buy with a medium to long-term horizon.
Okay, buy with a medium-term horizon is a view on PG Electroplast, looking good. There were a few updates that came through a short while back. The next question, I believe, is a caller. Okay, we've got Vishwas calling us from Bengaluru. Hi Vishwas, very good morning to you. How can we help you today?
Hi sir, good morning sir.
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead with your question.
Right time to buy Tata Technology correct levels sir in short term in 9 months sir.
In 9 months, all right. So, and you're looking at the price movement in the last few weeks and you're seeing that it's a good opportunity. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Brijesh, on the charts, it has recovered some ground, but it's languishing where it is at right now. Is this a good entry point in your opinion for 9 months?
Not very sure, because somehow there has been distribution, and this distribution can take it back to 650 or maybe 660 levels. So I see a further downside in this counter. So on an immediate basis, I think there will be some correction. one has to understand whether that downside will be held or not. Maybe it will take a little longer time. I'm not very sure of the 9 months. But on a since it is correcting, there is a further correction which is due. The 700 level is likely to be broken. So one has to keep a wait and watch kind of a strategy and hold as of now. 9 months would be difficult time to predict.
Okay, so that's the view for Tata Tech that we are looking at. But next question is for you, Nirav. And this is on the EMS side. We've already asked your view on PG Electro Plus, but Manoj is writing to us to understand the visibility for a Dixon Tech and overall the EMS space that we are looking at. Are you constructive and optimistic on this space that we are seeing?
Well, I think the EMS companies have a lot of potential as far as Make in India is concerned, and of course, I think all these companies have been scaling up their operations, and especially Dixon Technologies, they are looking at a compounded annual growth rate of around 40% in terms of revenue growth for the next few years. And they have very strong tie-ups. We've seen the tie-ups with Viva and the recent tie-up which they have done with Philips. So the outlook is looking pretty good. Valuations at this point of time are no doubt looking quite expensive, but I think the operating leverage is yet to kick in. So once the operating leverage and the financial leverage come into play, then I think we will see a lot of improvement on the bottom line also. So that will kind of justify the valuations also going forward. So I think they're good from a medium to long term perspective.
Okay. All right. So that's the view on the EMS space. Chandu is calling us from Hyderabad. Very good morning, Chandu. So we've been asking some of our viewers to tell us what advice they've gotten from their dads that has helped them in the markets. Do you have advice that you've gotten?
Yeah, so not exactly market. My father is into other field actually, but he has given the better advice is like, so whatever you want to do it, do start from early morning onwards. So whatever you want to achieve it, you just wake up early and start that one first. So take it as the first priority. So he always told me the same thing. I just followed in my study career, and even I started learning this stock market also. I am following my father actually.
Yeah, that's excellent advice. It's something that bodes well for all of us as well, because when we're tracking the markets, we get up very early in the morning. But having said that, how can we help you? What stock would you like to know about?
I like casing technology actually.
Okay.
Yeah, actually I bought around 41 quantity, around average price 1528. So still I wanted to add actually buy on dip strategy. But if I want to this like a short and medium and long term view on this. So I'm three things I'm doing like on this, on short term and medium and long term also.
Okay.
So that's the reason I selected this stock.
I got it.
So is the right stock? Yeah, it is right.
Time to add more. You want to add more? Or you want to hold?
Yeah, hold and add more. Both
Okay, got
I think
it.
I want to do it.
Got it. Nirav, specific view on the fundamentals for KFin Technologies. It's trading at what, trailing 62 times, so not exactly cheap. Would you hold or would you add more?
Well, I think you should hold the position and then wait for the results, because when typically you tend to assign such high PE multiples to high growth companies. So I think the growth should justify. If you're not able to justify the growth, then I think typically in such companies, when you are assigning a multiple of 62 times, you expect at least a CAGR of 35% over the next 2 to 3 years. Now, if this is sustainable, then it's okay. Otherwise, there is a real chance of a correction. So I think you should hold and then see the numbers and then take a call whether to add or not.
And it's moved quite substantially high, about 67% over the last year. Brijesh, I understand you have to leave us, and thanks so much for joining us today. Always a pleasure having you on the program. Nirav, do stay with us. On the other side of this break, we'll take more questions. Viewers, do stay tuned.
That's huge. That is a biggie. It's out there.
Gold Plus Clear Glass, पार हो या नियर, सब कुछ दिखे क्लियर।
One question can change everything. The big question. Bold, direct, uncompromising. Tough topics, hard-hitting analysis. Conversations that matter. We break it down. Cut through the noise and set the context for you. Hear from top policy makers and thought leaders from the world of business and beyond. The big question really is, are companies using dark patterns to take you for a ride? The big question we're asking today, is the US heading towards a recession? The big question is, are we sacrificing our health at the cost of convenience? The questions you care about, asked and answered. The big question.
Imports become the exception rather than the norm, and increasingly we do almost
Hello and welcome back. You're watching Ask Profit. You can call us and WhatsApp us your queries on the numbers flashing on the screen. But with that, let's take our next question. And this is Mohit writing to us from Ludhiana. He's got about 200 shares of Dreamfolk Services and this is at a price of 259. Wants to understand the 2-year outlook on the stock. If you are looking at the current price, that is he's made about a 1,600 of a profit. So let me take this with Neerav. Neerav, what's your view on Dreamfolk Services?
Well, I think Dreamfolk Services, the stock has been a slow mover in the recent past, but it will really take some time for the financials to play out going forward. So I think he should continue to hold with a medium-term perspective. And maybe even add the stock after the next quarterly results, maybe.
Got it. All right. So it's a slow burn, but hold is a view on Dreamfolks. We've got the next question from Xavier. But before we do that, actually, Ajit Mishra is joining us, Senior Vice President Research at Religare Broking. Ajit, we've been asking our experts, our viewers, to tell us one piece of advice that they took from their dads that has helped them either in life or in the markets. What is that advice for you?
Yeah, good morning, Alex. So, Alex, it's not only one advice, it's been like my entire life based on the principles that what my dad taught me during the initial years. That's going to be a very competitive world because he could oversee and things. So prepare yourself beforehand and keep upskilling is something that he kept on saying this to all of us. And one important thing is to manage your finance well. Means it's not going to be like good days you spend everything which you have and then wait for in case if there'll be any situation it's going to be difficult then. So managing your finance, saving was the big part, but gradually you also made a kind of approach that how you should invest is something also that he inculcated those habits. So these are the key basically things that he has given to us, and we are always grateful for all these.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is, I think, a sentiment that a lot of people share. So kudos to all of the dads out there for giving such good advice to their children. The next question we've got is from Xavier, and he's asking about SH Kelkar, and he's looking at investing, or rather buying this for a period of 1 year. And he's wondering whether the current market price is a good one to consider. What's the view, Ajit, on the charts?
Alex, it's been a very volatile ride for this stock. Means at one point of time, in the latter half of 2024, the stock was quoting at 330. Then there was a sharp slide to 150 area, and then again we are seeing a recovery, gradual recovery towards 240. So in case if you are okay with this kind of volatility, definitely you can consider the stock, because as of now the stock has been holding above its short-term averages. So that indicates the trend is still positive. But at the same time, since we have started seeing a correction in the mid-cap and small-cap space, one should be slightly cautious in this stock. So 230, if the view is very short-term, should be a strict stop loss. And then you can wait for a target around 260, 270.
Okay. All right. Our next caller is from Bengaluru. Mayur is calling us. Mayur, very good morning to you. And if you are a father, happy Father's Day to you. And any thing that you recall that your dad told you about life that you remember today?
Sir, he told the long term and good direction makes a lot of difference.
In the markets?
He told anything in the market and in life as well.
Oh, that's very good advice. I'm sure that it's holding you in good stead. What stock would you like to know about today?
I wanted to know about the long term, about the ITC shares, sir.
Okay. Have you bought? You bought?
It was like, yes, sir. My dad's gift for me about the ITC share. He used to hold it for a long term, so he's gifting me that. So I just wanted to know a long perspective of how it works.
Do you know the price or the approximate average price that he acquired it, or when he acquired it, Mayur?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember when he acquired it, or does he remember when he acquired it?
Sir, it was probably in 2008, and now he's giving it to me.
Understood. And do you know what the quantity is?
So the quantity ranges up to rupees 1 lakh.
Understood.
So the present.
The present value is 1 lakh.
Some amount for the safer side.
Yeah.
And,
I got it.
I'm planning to expand it.
I got it. You're planning to add more. Okay. So Nirav, the question is for you then. ITC is a portfolio stock, and his dad bought this quite a long while back. He's wondering whether to add what his father is gifting to him. What's the advice here?
Yes, definitely he should add more quantity because of the strong prospects of ITC. The different businesses are doing quite well, and strong cash flows being generated. So valuations are very, very reasonable. So he should add.
Okay, add is the view that we are seeing from ITC. You know, what he was just suggesting from 2008, he's bought the stock, which was at the levels of around 60 at that time. So interesting one on ITC over here that we are looking at. But the next question is also from Bengaluru, and this is Sushil Patil writing to us, wants to understand the overall long-term outlook on HUDCO, wants to understand the breakout as well as exit price on this. Ajit, let me come to you on this one.
So HUDCO, yes, it's been a steady journey since this March month bottom, and after this recent recovery, we are seeing a marginal drift towards the major averages. So it's still holding above the major averages, which is a good thing. But since we are very close to that mark, we need to be slightly cautious also. So since he is planning to buy fresh, I would recommend him to let the stock reclaim 235, which is the short-term average, so that we have some momentum in place. And then 260, 265 is something that he can wait for. In the interim, 210 should be the stop loss. In case the stock fails to hold this level, then probably we can see further consolidation.
Okay, all right. So that's a view on HUDCO. Anticipate further consolidation is the view. Deepak is calling us from Pune. I believe, Deepak, the question is on Power Grid. Also, since we're on the subject, and this is Father's Day special, any advice that you remember that your dad gave you that has helped you out?
Good morning. Hi.
Good morning.
So, yeah, I mean, father's advice is always like, treat with caution and look before you leap. Trust but verified. I mean, in very short words, that would, I think, sum it up all. And that can, help us in anything that you probably want to take a decision on.
Yeah.
So I think that would be...
That's the quintessential dad advice, isn't it? It's the quintessential dad advice. But Deepak, what would you like to know about today?
Okay, so Power Grid, I have bought initially 500 and now I'm holding about 4,500. And I've been averaging them out over the past 2-3 months. And the losses, I mean, it's not crossing 300 marks. So now I've been able to average it out about at 299.
Right.
So I hope it should cross that and I should be able to, take out my principal.
But you've got you've got a short-term perspective, is that right?
Short term, yes. I would like to, in terms of perspective, I would say I would like to make a close to about 8-9% on it, and that's what I was looking at. So I just like to know as to what is the future of this stock.
Okay, so let me get a view from Ajit on this one. Ajit, this is generally a stock that people buy as part of their long-term portfolios, but if you were looking to make a bit of a gain, and he's defined that as less than 10%, what is the time frame that you would advise that he hold on for, and when is this likely to take place?
Right. So, Alex, it's low beta counter, as you all know that it's a portfolio stock, and off late, after the attempt of recovery, it failed to hold this 330, 325 zone, and since then we are seeing gradual drift. So now the stock is trading below the major averages. So at least this is not a good time to add fresh. But in case if he has existing positions, he can stay put because downside also seem capped. So close to around 265, 270 is the area where we have multiple supports. So one thing that he can do if he's planning, let's say for 3 to 6 months, is to add more in case if it comes closer to the lower band, or wait for a breakout above 300 to enter fresh. In that case, he'll find momentum towards 330, which is 10% of those area.
Okay, so that's the view for Power Grid that we are looking at. Next question is from Puneet from Andhra Pradesh, wants to understand the overall long-term view on something like a Ashok Leyland. Nirav, let me come to you on this one.
Well, Ashok Leyland, we are expecting commercial vehicles to do reasonably well going forward. So the outlook he can expect modest returns as far as Ashok Leyland is concerned.
So would you buy at this point, Nirav, for the long term?
I think if he's holding, then he should continue to stay invested. Not recommend buying at this point.
If you were to buy something in the commercial vehicle space, what would it be, if at all? Would it be something like, and I'm widening the scope of that, not just in your traditional CVs, I'm talking about tractors as well, or farm equipment. So would you say that Mahindra and Mahindra maybe, or something else in the commercial vehicle space?
Well, I think Mahindra and Mahindra is looking quite good, and as far as buses segment is concerned, we were more inclined towards that. So we would like to look at SML Isuzu as well as Force Motors.
All right, we've got our next caller from Bengaluru. Murli is calling us, one of our regular viewers. Murli, very good morning to you. I'm going to switch the roles, and I'm going to ask a question to you and maybe a message that you can send to your children. What is the advice that you have for them?
Yeah, definitely. I have only one son. So I used to advise him always that practice makes you perfect. Because I used to teach him mathematics and all the school days.
Right.
So I used to tell him always, don't say once you know, because he used to do abacus and you will skip many steps.
Right.
You'll suddenly get into the final result, which teachers do not like. They want a step-by-step answer because they give marks for steps.
Yeah.
So I used to tell him always, don't do that and practice always. Even if you know it, practice again. Practice makes a man perfect. And equal, if you read 10 times and write 1 time, that is more effective. Writing 1 time is more effective than reading 10 times.
Yeah, that's very good
advice. Practice makes you perfect.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Be early in the morning. Be early in the morning for whatever you want to do.
And great advice, Murli. I think a lot of our viewers will also benefit from that. I didn't know that you were a teacher, and a lot of the questions that you've asked in the past.
I'm not a teacher. Sorry, I'm not a teacher. I'm a professional.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you're a professional. Okay, but the fact that you've given your son such advice, it explains the questions that you've been asking, because I think you've been very methodical in the questions that you've picked. So, what would you like to know about today?
About PNB housing.
Okay.
Just in the morning of this thing, Iran-Iraq conflict on 12th.
Yeah.
I was not knowing that the conflict has started. The prices were hovering around 1150 also. Suddenly it has fallen.
Yes.
So I bought it. Around 1106, 200 shares. So I know about the company.
Yeah.
Only thing is a waiting period and averaging, which I would like to know because I've seen the financial parameters.
Yes.
It is a very excellent setup. And the only thing is, should I add more and wait for from a 1 year point of view at least.
Okay.
With the rate reduction in the RBI rate reduction.
Exactly. Also. That's why I'm going to go, even though it's a 1 year time frame that you've identified, I'm going to go to Nirav on this one, because Nirav, this rate cutting cycle is anticipated to help a lot of the real estate plays. But the only question is, will that benefit play out in a 1 year time frame, or would you have to widen your time horizon? And how do you like PNB Housing? He's already bought at levels of 1,106.
Well, he can continue to hold, but he will have to widen his horizon, because I think it will be difficult to expect some very quick results. We will have to hold for maybe more than a 1 year horizon.
Is this the best play though, Nirav, in your opinion, in the housing finance space, or would you pick, and I'm going to throw stocks like your Bajaj Housing Finance into the mix here?
Well, yes, I think Bajaj Housing Finance can be considered because of strong promoters, and it's a relatively smaller player, but still strong prospects as far as growth is concerned.
Okay, and what about State Bank of India? I'm just trying to get, if you are to play this rate cut cycle, and considering that we just heard today that State Bank of India has cut its savings rate to 2.5%, I think that drives home the point that you shouldn't leave excessive amounts of money in your savings bank account, and maybe you should invest it, and there are several other options as well. But what would you do with the State Bank of India?
Well, I think we've not looked at State Bank of India so thoroughly, but I think our focus is more towards the private sector banks. So we like ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank.
So that's the overall view that we are seeing, or even the impact on these saving rates changes that we are looking at in terms of where the performance could be for some of these counter. But next question is from Rajiv Bhatia, and he wants to understand the picture for L&T. He's holding it at the price of 3,300, currently about 10 shares that he's bought in May 2024. Wants to understand whether he should sell or continue to hold for the next 3 months. So Ajit, let me come to you on this one.
So I would recommend him to hold, and in fact he can add more in case if he's planning to add some fresh to his existing position above 3720 level, because in that case the stock is likely to retest its previous record high close to around 38.50. So it looks a bit strong amid all this choppiness which we are seeing in the market. And for the entire position, he can maintain a closing stop at 35.50.
Okay. All right. So that's the view. The next question is from Satya. Satya is calling us from Bengaluru and asking about Raymond Limited, I believe. Satya, what's your question? Good morning.
Good morning, Alex. Good morning to the panel also. I have 73 shares of Raymond. Yeah. I purchased it at 651 rupees.
Okay.
Average.
Okay.
So I am in a profit of around 4% right now.
Okay.
I just want to hear whether I can hold it or sell it out.
You're in a loss, right, of about 5,000 rupees?
Correct. Yeah, correct.
Yeah. And you've got a short-term time frame, Satya?
6 months.
6 months, okay. Ajit, I'm coming back to you. 651 is a buy price, 73 shares. Would you book losses or wait for a comeback in this counter?
So Alex, I would recommend him to stay put, because we are very close to the support zone. Means 560, 65 is the area basically where we have multiple supports placed. Though the stock looks slightly weaker side, but the kind of volume section that we are seeing, it seems like the sellers are also exhausted. So probably 605, 6010 is something that once the stock crosses this area, then probably we can see a fresh recovery towards 640, 660. So around that zone, he can review his position again.
Okay, so that's the view that we are seeing for Raymond. Next question is also for you, Ajit. Now, Rahul is writing to us, wants to understand a short-term outlook on Brainbees Solution. He has 2,580 shares of the company, and this is at a price of 410, currently facing a loss of 93,000 on the counter. Wants to understand whether he should continue to hold for the next 6 months. Your view on this?
So there was an attempt of recovery, means after this steady decline post listing, almost 4 or 5 months of consolidation and then an attempt of recovery, but it failed to hold above its medium term moving average. So this indicates that people are still bit cautious in the stock and doubtful of the recovery. But considering the kind of volumes that we are seeing in the decline, so it seems like okay to me. There could be an attempt of recovery once again if the stock crosses 400. We are close to that mark. 340, 45 is basically where we have multiple support. So if he's okay with that as a stop loss, he can continue to stay put. Once we cross 400, then probably 440, 460 is something that the stock might reattempt.
Okay. All right. Our next caller is from Hooghly in West Bengal. Arpan is calling us. Arpan, very good morning to you. How can we help you today?
Good morning. My query is about the HFCL share.
Okay.
I had bought 50 shares of HFCL at an average of 86 rupees. And now it is in loss.
Right.
So
a very small loss. It's trading very close to your buy price, Arpan.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm saying it's trading very close to your buy price, so the loss is only 50 rupees or thereabouts.
Yes.
So what would you like to know?
I would whether I would sell or hold it. I want to know that.
And have you identified how long you would like to hold the stock for?
I think I should hold it for the next 3 months.
3 months. Okay. Okay, I got your question. Ajit, 50 shares at 86 rupees, very close to the market price right now. What is the view? What are the key levels to watch?
So Alex, since his view is short term and the stock has been struggling for quite some time, means it's been trading below all the major averages. There was an attempt of recovery of late, but couldn't sustain even the short term and medium term again. So we are very close to its buying price. It's prudent that he should exit his position and switch to the counters, which are trading closer to their record highs. So bigger names like Bharti Airtel, ICICI Bank, HDFC, these are better stocks to invest even if the view is 3 months.
Okay, so exit on HFCL is the view coming in from Ajit. Ajit, on that note, the next question is for you as well. And Tom's is writing to us from Bangalore. He's holding about 500 shares of Wellspin Living and bought it at a price of 141. So from those levels, we're seeing about 11 to 12% of a correction. Wants to understand the next 6 months outlook on this counter. What's your view?
So this stock has been trading extremely volatile from almost like 2-3 months now. Means from 100 to 150 and then again to around 130 area. So we are currently middle of the band and the major averages are placed around 140-45 area. So the tone looks sideways to negative. So if the view is short term, I would recommend him to exit at current levels and wait for the stock to reclaim 150 for re-entry.
Our viewers will be familiar with the rare earth magnets shortage that came about because of trade tensions between China and the US. And while there's an anticipation that this will get resolved, Nirav, there's an interesting question that has come from Santosh, who's writing in from Chennai. And he's asking, are there companies that are involved in in India with regard to rare earth magnets? I know the answer to that, not many, but there is an anticipation that some of them will get into it. But he's also talking about companies contemplating recycling of rare earth magnets. I'm not really familiar with this. Have you read something like this? And if there is a play, what would it be?
Well, from whatever I've read, I think GMDC could be one potential player in the rare earth mineral space. There the prospects are looking quite attractive. I'm not really sure about the recycling part of the rare earth magnets.
Got it. Okay, that's not a problem. It is something that is dependent on reserves as well, which we don't have too much of in India. All right, it's time now, gentlemen, to hit the rapid fire round, and you know what that means. We'll throw as many questions at you over the course of 2 minutes to try and answer as quickly as possible. Aeroflex is the name of the counter we're talking about first. Dr. Abhiram is asking about this. 175 is the buy price, and he's got 2,000 quantity. Should he hold, Ajit?
Hold with stop loss at 160, target 190.
Okay, next question is from Sunil from Bengaluru. He's holding about 50 shares of Axis Bank at a price of 555. Wants to understand a 5-year outlook on this. Your view, Nirav?
Hold.
Okay, Praj Industries, I don't know what the buy price is. Angad from Indore. wants to know whether it's a hold or a sell at this point. I guess he's got a short-term time frame. Ajit?
Hold, 450 stop loss, 560 target.
Okay, next question is from Prakash. Wants to understand the view on Jio Finance on a long-term basis. Wants to understand whether he should make fresh entry at this point. Nirav, this is for you.
Add.
Okay, I don't think we're going to have a view on Raju Engineers. Ajit, I'm just going to try. I haven't looked at the counter. Raju Engineers, bought at levels of 253. Any view?
Alex, I've heard this name for the first time. Sorry,
Yes,
I can't hear.
Same here. All right, so I don't blame you. The next question that we're taking is on Avantel. If we've got a view, 85 rupees is the buy price. What's the view, Nirav?
Hold.
Okay, next question is for Kirti Vasan. He wants to understand the view on Triveni Turbines. Bought 50 shares of this at an average price of 565. Ajit, your view for the next 6 months?
Looks positive. Hold, 560 stop loss, 680 target.
Coming back to you, Ajit. Bajaj Housing Finance is the name of the counter. Bought at levels of 136.6, 500 shares. 6 months is the time frame. Should he hold or sell? This is a view from Guru.
Hold, 115 stop loss, 140, 45 target.
Okay, next question is from Vijay Lakshmi. Wants to understand the outlook on Deepak Nitrite. Bought it at an average price of 2,135. This is his average since the last 2 years. Wants to understand whether to hold or exit. Nirav, your view.
Hold.
Okay, all right. That brings us to the end of the rapid fire round and indeed this edition of Ask Profit, the special Father's Day edition. Ajit as well as Nirav, thanks so much for taking the time. Always a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you.
All right, like I said, that brings us to the end of this edition of Ask Profit. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing it to you. To all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day and keep giving your kids the amazing advice that you always do. That brings us to the end of this episode, but there's more lined up, starting with Know Your Company up next. This is NDTV Profit.
गोल्ड प्लस ऑप्टिमिस्टिक रिफ्लेक्टिव ग्लास लगाओ, धूप की गर्मी को दूर भगाओ और बिजली का बिल भी बचाओ।
Imports become the exception rather than the norm, and increasingly we do almost last year, for example, of the contracts that we signed of record 2,09,000